just think the paradigm with mental well-being has shifted, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's become a lot more acceptable than it used to be. I think to even talk about mental health used to I think it used to be taboo kind of in a way.
100%. And you know what? It's an amazing employee benefit as well. And I think there's a new generation of people that will come through that will kind of choose a company who puts this sort of stuff front and center over another company, because people want. So when you're presented with those kind of realizations, you're like, okay, well, what career would fit my mold, if you will.
Okay.
And coaching was just a natural thing. Coaching was that thing where it was like, okay, well, this seems to tick so many of the boxes. I think also on top of that, what I also noticed was that I had direct people I reported into. They'd suffered from burnout as well. So it wasn't just me. I could see they were struggling as well. They needed coaching. They needed support. I think for me at the time where I was at, I was like, God, if there was somebody like, and I know this now, if there was somebody like me, who they brought in as a third party, somebody I could talk to, maybe I could have worked through these issues and I might have stayed, or I might have turned my performance around. But that
All right, fantastic. Thanks for joining me today for another episode of Define Your Purpose. Purpose is the birthplace of ideas. And I'm really pleased to be welcoming an award-winning executive leadership coach, business and career development coach out of Manchester, UK. And he's here today to explain some of his methodology that has gained himself and so many clients so much success. Welcome, Tom Paine. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Carl. Great to be here.
I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, no problem.
So I wonder, did you ever think you were going to be a coach when you were younger?
Good question. No, not at all. I think, to be honest with you, I didn't even think I'd be a coach even maybe 8-9 years into my corporate career. It was only really as a result of my backstory, which you might know, is, I had quite a high-flying sales career. I had 7 promotions in 8 years for quite a large global recruiter, and crashed and burned. Experienced high levels of stress and anxiety and all that kind of goes with it, and almost was forced into reconsidering what my options were. So no, in answer to your question, I didn't really think of that. I mean, probably when I was younger, I wanted to be a footballer, or, I studied to be a journalist at university, actually. I always thought I was going to write for a career.
Okay.
So I kind of went down that route. And realized it wasn't for me, really. I did quite a lot of studying in that area. Actually, I did a master's in journalism. So I was quite, kind of keen to go down that route, but realized it wasn't for me, So I suppose I'm probably like many people who you don't really know what you want to do. And do you even know what you want to do right now? Is what I'm doing now as a coach what I'm going to continue to do in the future? Probably, but that could change,
Right. So how did you pick yourself up then? You say you crashed and burned because you had driven yourself so hard in the sales and all. What it led to the interest in coaching? Was it maybe personal development? A lot of people say that they got into it that way.
Yeah, so it's a few things really. So absolutely, it's personal development. So I reached a point where I almost had what may be described as like an existential crisis. So I don't know if you've experienced anything similar. I know many people do. It's like, okay, well, is this the right career for me? I feel like I've lost purpose. What is my purpose? I'm not passionate about what I do, but I feel like, I'm kind of stuck in this, this kind of career. So at that point, I started to read more. And I started to kind of go down this journey of self-discovery, if you will. So I started to read books like 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. I remember that was a real clear kind of standout moment for me where I was reading this book and it was talking about, having a career with purpose and that aligns with values. And I was like, hey, what are values? What are my values? And then I was questioning people's values around me and it wasn't matching up. So yeah, absolutely. That personal development journey, the more I learned about myself, then the more I realized I didn't want to kind of remain in that world. But I suppose on top of that, you've got the fact that you are burnt out and you are stressed and you have to make a change for your own lifestyle. It kind of forces you into that. I think on top of that, you've got, you look at your skills and your strengths as well. I don't know if you've ever done any work around your skills and strengths, Carl, but once you work out what you're naturally good at, it makes sense to do more of that. And I think a lot of the role that I was in previously, so basically in a nutshell, I was in kind of business manager role. I had 24 direct reports. A lot of it was quite hard KPI management of people who were underperforming, taking them through things like performance management, managing people out of the business, all this kind of like really tough stuff. And I realized that actually that wasn't my forte. I like to work with high performers. I like to work with people on their mindset. It was a different type of kind of people work, if you will. So once I'd worked out what my strengths were as well, that was another key thing, because that was almost like a light bulb. I was like, okay, well, maybe 40% of the work I'm doing here is what I'm naturally good at. The rest of the 60%, actually, I could leave. I'm not passionate about it. And actually, it doesn't really fit with what my core strengths are. So when you're presented with those kind of realizations, you're like, okay, well, what career would fit my mold, if you will? Okay. And coaching was just the natural thing. Coaching was that thing where it was like, okay, well, this seems to tick so many of the boxes. I think also on top of that, what I also noticed was that I had direct people I reported into. They'd suffered from burnout as well. So it wasn't just me. I could see they were struggling as well. They needed coaching. They needed support. I think for me at the time where I was at, I was like, God, if there was somebody like, and I know this now, if there was somebody like me, who they brought in as a third party, somebody I could talk to, maybe I could have worked through these issues and I might have stayed, or I might have turned my performance around. But that kind of like third party support didn't exist at the time. Yeah. And I still think a lot of businesses don't have that now. This is why I've created the Wave Effect, which is my new business, which is a leadership coaching company to support businesses in how they manage their top performers' mental well-being, their performance. So I suppose in answer to your first question, it's really personal development, but it's kind of understanding your strengths and your values that kind of pushed me into this area. But it was also me from my business mindset or entrepreneurial mindset of going, there's a problem here, which I don't think is being addressed, this workplace well-being, mental well-being issue. Is there something more that can be done? And can I use my skills to do that? So that's kind of the junction, really, of how things happen.
Right. Awesome. So, and kind of digging yourself out, I guess, and your own recovery, helped you kind of piece together your methodology to help other people, then, it sounds like?
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose what happened was I burnt out in 2018, and then I kind of stayed in the job for another kind of 6 months trying to figure it out. And then I quit the employer that I worked for, and I went to work from basically a global FTSE 250 recruitment organization. They trade in America, Asia, Europe. They're huge. And then I went to work for a lot smaller business. I went to work for a 30-man organization, like a boutique agency in Manchester. And I've completely forgot where I was going then. What was your question again? Sorry. What was your question again? Sorry.
No, so how did you once you were in the coaching business? I'm just kind of wondering how you
sorry, yeah. How did I look?
help you, right? Like,
yeah, sorry, no, it's a long-winded answer to your question. Sorry, how did I basically decide? I suppose the tools. Yeah, so sorry, I'd gone through this. So it's a long story, really, which I'm kind of making a mess of. But when COVID came around, I was almost what I felt like I was almost forced to take action. I was forced to kind of buy that coaching course. And it was a life coaching course. So it was quite generic in many respects, kind of a course that helps you coach lots of different people. You could coach people to stop smoking. You could coach people to change career, improve their confidence, the whole shebang. So when I first started and launched my business, I didn't really have a particular niche, so to speak. So I didn't have that niche, as you guys say. It's that specialist area. And so to begin with, I didn't really understand that. But as time progressed, maybe in the first 3 months of having clients, I realized that I was coaching some clients that I wasn't right for, some people who were looking to improve their physical health or weight. And I was like, okay, well, I can help you, but that's not really something that's close to me. But slowly I started to coach more senior level clients who were suffering from burnout, who were suffering from stress, overwhelm, career questions. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, that's what I enjoy because that's what I've had to deal with. So basically, you're almost working with people who were on a similar journey to you, but they're maybe several years behind you in terms of this is happening to them real time. I want to be the support, and I have been the support previously that for me, all those years ago. So I suppose from a burnout perspective, what skills do burnout is about recognizing what burnout is. It's having that education of, okay, what is stress? What is anxiety? How is that affecting my career? And then basically you're kind of building out the tools and techniques to be able to deal with that and coaching somebody through it. But there could be different reasons for that. It could be lack of boundaries. So I've done a lot of work on that personally, professionally in the past. It may be actually habits, your physical habits, your mental habits. Maybe it's around feelings of feeling like an imposter or confidence problems. And you're kind of building this together. So there's lots of different reasons people end up having these kind of career challenges. So yeah, I suppose that's it. And it kind of has grown from there, really.
Great. Awesome. So what helped you get traction then in the beginning as a coach? What helped you stand out? Was it just realizing these strengths and making that your kind of your message?
So what helped me gain traction to begin with? I don't know. That's tricky. So yeah, I as soon as I launched my business, I had 2 clients in 24 hours that signed up, and I was like, wow,
awesome.
This is a kind of omen, if you will. I don't know if you read Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights.
I have not.
You should.
I'll check that out. Okay.
Yeah, it's a great book. It's kind of like these spiritual reflections that he has. And he talks about green lights. So you have moments in your life where you'll have a red light moment where the omen or the thing that's happening is telling you to stop what you're doing. So for me, my red light was when I burnt out from my career and I was losing sleep constantly, had insomnia. That is a red light. Stop what you're doing. Something is not right here.
Yeah.
Whereas you get moments like amber. Say, for example, we've moved house in the last couple of years. Actually, no, we moved house this year, but we wanted to move house probably for the last 3 years. But it wasn't the right time because we set businesses up. People wouldn't lend us money. All that kind of real life, real world stuff goes on. That was a amber. As in, we still wanted to do it, but you just have to wait. But then you have green light moments. So things that happen and you're like, wow, a door. So for example, I started my business. I didn't know whether I was going to get clients or not. I'd never done this before. But on day 1, 2 clients paid within 24 hours. I was like, wow, right, great. So that was a green light moment in terms of that. So it's quite hard to put across. I think ultimately people want to work with you as a coach if they feel like they can trust you. If you feel like you can help them with their challenges, or if you've been in their shoes before.
Right.
So maybe those things came across in my, like I said before, I've studied to be a journalist, so I could always write. I've written posts, I've written articles, I wrote so many articles to begin with. I created so much content. You know, I created loads of videos when it was really awkward, and I look back now on those initial videos and I cringe a little bit. You know, and like with this podcast or social media, you have to get over the fact that some people won't like what you do, or you have to get over the fact that worry about what people think. And you have to get over the fear of failure and all these kind of things that also come into it. So it's not just about being a great coach. Yeah, you have to be good at sales and marketing, 100%. I had sales and marketing experience, so I understood that world. So that helped. I hadn't really promoted myself on social media before, so I've kind of just learnt that as I've gone. So I think there are moments, and I can't really explain that, when you do something and you're like, yes, this is right. And that is that green light moment. And you have to to begin with, you have to try something new and risk getting it wrong, or risk having a red light, if you will. So I think that's that. And I've always built momentum from LinkedIn. I mean, I've coached, I think, nearly 150 people through LinkedIn in 4 years. It's like a lot. So I definitely hit upon something which was a problem around burnout. And now my mission really is now to expand that into more people, because the challenge, I always think it's very, kind of brave that people are investing such a lot of money out of their own pocket to invest in their personal development, when their businesses or their companies, who may be responsible or are responsible all the time for their mental well-being problems or their issues, they should technically be paying for this. And I know that businesses are going to start to invest in this more and provide more coaching and personal development in this way that I do, not necessarily the traditional L&D way, if that makes sense. So that's the whole point of the business, really. So yeah.
Do you coach people on having more confidence, I wonder, and taking more risks? Because I feel like lots of times the burnout comes from in part from not having confidence to take risks and to do bigger and different things. So I'm kind of wondering how you help people with confidence.
Confidence. Well, obviously there are specific tools to help people build confidence. So, for example, beliefs is a huge one. So if you have stacks of limiting beliefs, like I can't do this, I'll never be successful, I'm a bad person, nobody likes me, these are the kind of things that people tell themselves. All those stories, that's almost like a dialogue that's going on in your head on repeat in the background. It's like a background radio that's telling you you're not good enough. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that is not good for your confidence. Whereas if we talk about the opposite, whereas if we have a positive dialogue, like you can do this, you can take risks, and failure is okay, and you can always get back on your feet, and you have the abilities to do, and you're training your mind basically of what you can do, then naturally that is an empowering belief system, which then creates confidence. Right. Also, confidence is linked. What you're saying is confidence is linked to taking action and decisive action. And pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. I mean, things that I've done this year, pushing myself out of my comfort zone, I've kind of I've evolved. I've created a new business. I'm kind of taking a new direction, slightly different. It's the same thing, but in a different direction. I've been presenting in front of 30 directors. In public speaking, something I used to hate, something that I still sometimes struggle with, I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone. But once I've done it once, and I've done it twice, three, I'm starting to get good at it, and I'm starting to improve my confidence. So basically, these things are entwined. For me, it starts with belief. You have to have that right level of inner dialogue and self-belief that, okay, well, I'm going to try this. It might go wrong, but that's a good thing. I'm in a growth mindset. I'm learning as part of the process. I'm growing as an individual. And you have that mindset first. That's going to enable you to then go, okay, well, I might accept that public speaking gig, or I might apply for that promotion, or I might, do you know what? I'm going to speak to my boss and give him some feedback and try and create a boundary about his micromanagement, for example. And then when you do those things and you survive and you're like, I'm still alive, it actually went okay. It might not have been perfect, but I think I can build on it. That's what builds confidence, and that's what breeds confidence. It's kind of going through those challenging moments. And also probably more challenging moment, the tougher the task that you come through and you survive, the more confidence you'll get from a leverage perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a lot of work
Yeah.
we do around confidence for sure.
Nice. Yeah, it kind of makes me think of you have to fail. Like, people think failure is the opposite of success, but it's really part of success. And you have to fail to get to where you want to be, I think.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. You can't win. You can't win first place without somebody in second place or third place or whatever that is. That's just logic. So, but people are scared to fail because of what people think. And this is the kind of battle that goes on. And this is why people don't take risks 100%. My confidence has grown massively just through starting my own business and going it alone. So I've got confidence that I could start another business or probably another business in the future. I don't know, but I didn't have that confidence before. Would never think, you could do. It's been a result of taking the risk and taking the action and coming through it.
Yeah. I kind of like to think if I'm not pushing myself outside my comfort zone in some way each day, that I'm not making progress each day. So
Yeah.
You should always be. I feel like you should always be challenging yourself like that. I think it's important.
Yeah, but then there's a fine balance as well between not being too harsh. It's okay to have an off day, and it's okay not to win, and it's okay not to. And I think some people can be too harsh with themselves on the other side, and that's about reining yourself back in, because then that becomes critical, and then that stems into if you don't watch that, that's you're not good enough, or you're not doing enough, or you should be doing more, and then that can also inhibit you as well. So it's a careful balance.
Yeah. Do you ever have maybe corporate clients who say that they aren't into growth and they just want to enjoy where they are and they don't want to improve and have goals and get better and all that stuff?
Yeah,
what do you say to people like that?
Well, I've got one client at the moment. So there's 32 people we're coaching, and of that, it's unreasonable to say that every single one of that group is going to be like, woohoo! We're getting coaching. This is great. Who's this Tom guy? I can't wait. I mean, look, most people are kind of are with it. People don't understand it because, like you say, there's a certain type of person who will be on LinkedIn who's looking for personal growth, who will go, I'm going to invest my own money in a coach, right? There's a different breed of people who are not on LinkedIn, who don't take any interest in personal development. That actually they would never reach out to a coach. So the fact that they are dealing with a coach to begin with, some people just turn around and go, look, I don't really know what this is. And you're like, one of my usual questions is, what would you like to get out of this coaching partnership? And sometimes that falls on, I don't know, why am I here? So it can be a little bit awkward to begin with, but actually the people who don't have expectations, are usually the ones who actually get so much more out of it. The process, which is amazing to see. Some people. I mean, I've worked with a very busy organization at the moment. They're really stretched. They're really under pressure. And actually, some of our group workshops, people have been emailing to say, do I have to attend this? What's this for? And you're like, wow, your company's investing a lot of money here in your personal development, and this is going to really benefit you. And also, you've never done this kind of thing before. But as time goes by and they've experienced them more and more, they're like, yeah, I get it. They're like, when's the next one? They've almost 180'd. So that is a challenge to begin with. Not everybody's going to be bought into it. And look, you're never going to have 100% hit rate at all. But overall, the feedback is incredibly positive about bringing people together, particularly with the group workshops. Bringing people back face to face. Even if to begin with, you're like, you know what, I don't know what I want to get out of this. I don't really have too many goals. Like you say, I'm just happy where I am in this position. Okay, maybe I'll learn some stuff when I go. The fact that they're in the room together again is huge, because and I'm convinced that there is a direct link between, faltering mental health in the workplace and this overcommitment to working remotely. So we're only ever speaking to each other on Teams. And we miss that human connection of chat by the water cooler or chat after a meeting. Some people used to go for beers after work, that social aspect, but also actually just being face to face with somebody or sitting next to somebody and going, can I just run an idea past you? Or this has just happened. Like, what do you think? Like we lose that kind of immediacy with that human connection. So when you're bringing people together, even if they didn't want much out of the coaching, they come away going, yeah, it's just great to be back together again.
Yeah, so much of communication is body language, and you miss all that in the Zoom, I think.
100%. And I'm a complete advocate of remote working. I have 2 young daughters. Right. We do pickups, drop-offs. We kind of don't have a reliance as much on after-school clubs and all that sort of stuff. So it's been fantastic. It is great, in particular, for any new parent. I get that. However, from a efficiency point of view and from a team work point of view, I do think some businesses are missing this. I mean, I know a lot of businesses are going back 2-3 days a week now. The problem, and again, I see with businesses going back 2-3 days a week, is that it's we're just basically working as if we were at home, and they miss the opportunity to bring people together and kind of have dynamic team meetings and breakout groups and all that kind of stuff that goes with it, or training and development when people are in the office. So yeah. And also, the thing is, we talk about burnout, but actually burnout is, again, I suppose, a result of this mental health issue of people working from home more. But the lines are blurred between home life and work life when you're constantly working from home.
Yeah.
There's no kind of commute. There's no finality of I'm leaving the office door now and that's me, and I go back home and that's sacred. We kind of miss that. So if you're under pressure and you're logging on at 8 o'clock and you're not logging off till 10 p.m. at night, and that's happening 5 days a week, where do you get a break for your own mental well-being? And then if you add in, you've got bad habits around, I don't go for walks, I don't exercise, I eat crap. Right. It's like you can see how this picture is developing for people within this new working environment.
Yeah. Put all that together, and it's like definitely burning the candle at both ends. So, do you help people with their routine and exercise and all that sort of thing too? Or where do you go with one-on-one coaching?
Yeah. So in some instances, it depends what somebody's goal is.
Okay. Yeah.
In the main, obviously, leadership coaching, career coaching, business coaching is the main bulk of conversations. However, when you're working with an organization, I mentioned some examples before of people, and they might say, actually, one of my goals is to get fitter. I want to lose some weight. So you're helping them through their goals there. I mean, I don't help people with diet plans or exercise plans. It's more a case of, okay, what's your vision for yourself? Your current identity is that you feel overweight and lethargic and you don't have any energy. Okay, well, let's think about next year, in 12 months' time, 6 months' time. Who is it that you want to be? You want to fit into a certain dress size. You want to feel energy. You can spring out of bed. You want to get back into that team sport you used to do. Want a gym, whatever that is. And then basically I help people break those goals down into manageable milestones. And then as a coach, you're adding that layer of accountability for somebody, because that's what they lack sometimes. Because when they're not the best CEO of their life, then actually I can help out. That's what people are paying me for as well, is to kind of push, hold them to account. How did you get on with that? And actually just, so much of the feedback I get, and this can count for any action, is that, I might not have seen somebody for 2 weeks or a month maybe. And it may be that they've forgotten that they committed to an action 24 hours, 48 hours before our meeting. But the fact that they have that meeting booked in the follow-up with me, they go, right, shit, let me just email my boss on that thing and arrange that meeting that I was dreading.
Right. Yeah.
And they go ahead and do that. Or let me just book that gym membership. So they want to tell me, they want to kind of report in and go, hey, Tom, I've done this and I've done my action. That accountability is maybe... That's a huge part of being a coach. And what helps people along that journey. So yeah, fitness is a part 100%.
Yeah, I think that where you want to be in 12 months is a really powerful question. How do you picture things?
Yeah.
So is that, and that must be something you use with business clients too, I guess, right? That works in that realm as well.
100%. 100%. Yeah, have you ever done a Gallup Strengths Finder before?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so worthwhile doing. They're really good. I do Gallup Strengths Finder reports and analysis.
Multiple choice type test, or
yeah, it's like a 40-minute questionnaire, and it's I mean, how many studies have they got? I mean, I don't know. I can't remember. It's something crazy. And I'm a futurist. I'm a futuristic. That's my number one strength. So that's from a strategic thinking perspective. So I help people see into the future. So that's where people get energized, motivated when I talk, is when we talk about the future and creating visions. So absolutely, that lends well to being a coach, but that can go for a business. So I'm doing a group workshop next Thursday with a set of directors, and that is about where do we want to be in 12 months' time? How do we break that down into 3-month milestones, 6-month milestones, and let's visualize ourselves, of what that, I suppose, panacea is like, that kind of almost ideal picture. And that breaks people out of the monotony of the day-to-day, 100%. And then it's about keeping, once the vision is clear, once the vision is inspiring, once the vision is motivating, that's when you have a real solid goal, especially when you've got the whole team agreeing on that. That's great. And then that allows you then at different points is to get back to the goal. It anchors you to where we're going. If you get off track, or if you need to remotivate somebody or realign somebody in your team, or whatever that is, it's okay. Let's get back to where we said we were going to be and what we agreed. What do we need to do to get there? What actions do we need to take? In the same way that if somebody says, I want to lose weight, and they've fallen off the wagon, they've been eating takeaways, then remind me of your goal. Okay, what do you need to get there? Okay, well, I need to stop eating takeaways. I need to get back to the gym. Okay, well, let's start taking action towards that goal again. So it sounds simple, but a lot of people don't have time to do that, or the thinking space. Again, that's where this wonderful world of coaching, as you know, Carl, comes in.
Yeah, for sure. I think lots of times for corporate contracts, it can be really helpful if you can show kind of the ROI that they get from coaching. Is that something that you've had success showing, and have you done case studies and that sort of thing, or how do you talk about that with corporate clients?
It's tricky, isn't it? I suppose, because that's the assumption that all corporate clients want to have an ROI attached to coaching, as in like, okay, well, if we do it, what's the point? But the point is that you're going to improve your employee satisfaction scores. People are going to be happier, just to start with. And also then, I suppose, then it's linking that back to, well, what are your retention and attrition rates at the moment? Because people are leaving because they're unhappy, or you've got a poor workplace culture, or they're burnt out, or they're stressed. Take, for example, me. I mean, I'd like to class myself formally as a high performer in recruitment. I had a really strong track record. I had great results. And, I left because of lots of different reasons. One of them was burnout and stress and overwhelm. But actually, that business lost an asset there in me. And there's multiple businesses that lose their key assets and top performers because they don't have the ability or don't have the time to spend one-on-one with somebody, pulling apart their beliefs or the fact that they're burnt out. Many employees just tell their bosses what they want to hear. I'm okay. Everything's fine. Bosses just check in with them. How's it going at the moment? At the end of a call, yeah, I'm fine. Finished. They don't realize that person is suffering with their anxiety or thinking of leaving or wants more from the job. So they miss that. So that is the return on investment, is that this coaching support gives them the ability to basically not only retain their staff for longer, so that is a return on investment. So they don't have to pay recruitment fees. They don't have to waste so much time rehiring.
That's a hidden cost. Turnover can be like 25 grand per employee or something, I've read.
100%. Yeah, exactly. Whatever that is. And businesses will know that. So if you times that by, and if you can say, okay, well, this coaching company is going to come in and stop that happening or reduce that down significantly, that's your return on investment. But also then on top of that, it's around, okay, well, actually, this is why the business is called the wave effect. It's because if you impact one person and you change their habits or the way that they speak to their staff or their confidence levels, that then affects somebody else. And that person then has a better experience, and that then affects somebody else. So you create this wave effect through the conversation.
And that actually changes productivity, I would argue, too, when people really
100%
see the reason to do the work. It makes all the difference.
100%. Yeah, I mean, you've got I'll give you an example, actually, from somebody you're working with at the moment. So he is on the Gallup strengths. He's an achiever. So that means he's an executor. So he's about getting things done. And every strength has a blind spot. So with the blind spot for an achiever is that they will sometimes take all of the actions and just get things done. So they'll take away and they'll stop somebody else from kind of shining in the spotlight or delegating work out, because they just want to kind of take all of those actions because they need to achieve. However we get there, I don't care. Let's just do it. So on the one hand, it's a strength because it drives projects forward and you deliver. On the other hand, what happens is actually you prevent other people from speaking up, or you prevent somebody else in your team who has loads of potential stepping up and doing a good job in that area. So because this guy knows this now, he understands I'm an executor. He understands that my blind spot is that I sometimes just take stuff off people and I hog actions, and people don't feel like they can speak up or challenge or whatever. He's actually pulled back because he knows that now in certain meetings. And the last time I saw him, he was like, I've had 2 people who've really stepped up. Just because I've stepped back a bit, I've revealed 2 people in my team who have done amazing jobs on reports for us. And I think they could be the next leaders within this team. So basically, you have this kind of exercise that we've done in coaching. He's increased his self-awareness as a leader. He's then tried something by actually taking a step back in a blind spot he didn't know he had. And that's then enabled those 2 people to step up. So this is the wave effect that coaching has within businesses, right? So that's kind of how, I mean, and if we're to put a figure on that for a business, you're going to save X amount of money with us. I just don't know whether it's hard to quantify the work we do there. But actually, businesses have to then start to take the leap of faith a little bit more with hiring this type of engagement in. Because it wouldn't exist without me. Like I said, 140 people since 2021, start of 2021, I've worked with. Could it be argued that the majority of 140 people actually should have had better support from their organizations in this zone? Yes.
Yeah.
So why not start doing it? And these guys don't have to pay out of their pocket to begin with, but then also then you prevent them from leaving, you improve performance. There's so much to be gained.
Yeah. I feel like that's added to the popularity of coaching, maybe too. That made it catch on quicker. That we were almost like overdue for these changes in the way that corporations were being run for so long.
Yeah, I just think the paradigm with mental well-being has shifted, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's become a lot more acceptable than it used to be, I think, to even talk about mental health. I think it used to be taboo, kind of, in a way.
100%. And you know what? It's an amazing employee benefit as well. And I think there's a new generation of people that will come through that will kind of choose a company who puts this sort of stuff front and center over another company, because people want personal development, they want support, and also they don't want to be burnt out. And now we're in this virtual world. We kind of need that. It's really tough. It's not like everybody's there present every 5 days a week, and that leader can then sense and see who's doing well. And I can notice that person's body language, like you said before, is a little bit low today, and let me have a check in with them. They don't see the same as they were. We miss all that in a remote environment.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of carryover too when people are having coaching and personal development at work. I think that carries over to their personal life too. And I think people make changes at home that they wouldn't otherwise when they take part in this kind of corporate coaching like we're talking about. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. People make healthier decisions, don't they? So maybe it's around sleep. Somebody just as simple as that starts getting more sleep. So their brain is healthier. And then they turn up to the meeting the next day and they've got better ideas. And that helps you progress your program by a month or 6 months. I don't know. I just think, look, the saying goes, no job is worth your mental health. So clearly, and I think this is increasing, people will be watching this and going, yeah, that's me. I'm struggling with my mental health. I don't know what to do. And then there's a lot of, not every director is a mental health practitioner. Not every, HR advisor has the skills from a coaching perspective to then help somebody. So what do? You just kind of let these great employees, potential amazing employees, just kind of burn out or, kind of fade away or quit. What do you do to support them? I just think it's a growing issue, 100%. And that's why I do what I do ultimately. But yeah, you're right. I mean, people can improve their lives outside of work through coaching and in unexpected ways, which then has a great knock-on effect to their work inside of work.
Yeah, you can think about your family as a business, and how do you improve your family? How do you improve your relationships? Each relationship that you have, and you can start to apply some of the things. I think people put more planning into their vacation than they put into their life overall. So if people just start paying more attention to detail and planning like that, you get so much better results.
Absolutely.
So where's the best place to find you if someone wants to have a talk?
Well, I'm absolutely on LinkedIn, so I'm most active on LinkedIn. You can get me I've changed my address recently, actually, to Tom at Wave Effect is the URL. Nice. So yeah, you can find me. It's Tom Paine, the Wave Effect. If you also search Tom Paine Life Coaching as well, so that's my kind of private coaching company that I have. And I also am the founder and head coach of the Wave Effect. So you can find us on wave-effect.com if you wanted to see our website. And if you want to engage on that front, absolutely, there's a link. You can book in a call with me. You can send me an email at tom@wave-effect.com. And you can reach out via there. Or do you know what? Just give me a follow on LinkedIn. I'm there, most days, posting videos, different content, maybe some pictures of my puppy. Flora.
Yeah, you have a newsletter, right?
Do you know what? I did have a newsletter. I may have a newsletter going into next year. Yeah, have a newsletter, which you keep an eye out for as well. So I think the easiest thing is just LinkedIn. And if you want to start a conversation, drop me a DM. We can have a chat. And if it's running past ideas which you have, challenges, maybe it's that you're a director and you're like, do you know what? I've got these people headaches, or I've got this strategy I'm trying to land, and I don't know what to do, and I have these problems. Reach out. I'll talk to you about how we can support you in achieving your strategic objectives, whether that's people, whether that's change, whether that's leadership development, whatever that is, we can speak. But also from a private perspective, maybe you're listening to this and you're going, do you know what? I'd love to work with Tom, or I'd love to work with a coach. My business won't pay for this type of stuff. I also do private coaching, so you can come to me directly. I'm pretty full at the moment in terms of numbers, but I'm sure we could potentially work something out.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, thanks for taking the time today. I really enjoyed our conversation.
No problem, Carl.
Was there anything else you wanted to add to kind of leave folks with? Final thought?
It's like Jerry Springer, isn't it? Do you remember that? The Jerry Springer that's a good show. So, yeah, I think, do you know what? You have to reach out for help. If you're struggling with your mental well-being and you're struggling, if something isn't right, you need support, whatever that could be, help is the best thing. And I think a lot of, men in particular, sometimes fear, actually, if I ask for help, it shows weakness. And if I share some of the thoughts that I'm having, it might be embarrassing, or what will people think of me? Trained professionals is absolutely the way to go, whether that's a therapist, whether that's a coach, whatever that is. There is an increase in mental health problems as a direct result of work. And I am passionate about solving those problems. Even if it's not me, you go, you know what, Tom's not the right person for me to speak to, somebody else is. The key thing and the key message I'd like to leave is just to make sure that you reach out and you ask for help. And sometimes the ego gets in the way. Like I said, it's embarrassing. I don't want to appear weak. You have to put that to one side. Your mental health is too important to let those things kind of override and stop you from, basically having the life, the career that you deserve.
Yeah, definitely. I like to say, when we walk with purpose, we collide with destiny.
Nice. I love that. That's great.
Yeah. So we'll have to stay in touch. Maybe we'll have a follow-up talk.
Sure. Yeah. Happy to come on again anytime, Carl. I enjoyed that. And if there's anything, anything else you want to discuss in the future, be more than happy to join.
Awesome. Great.
Thanks
again, Tom. Have a great day.
Bye.